X-Men Regenesis set review coming right up. Mr. Clicks Flicks is brought to you by Lucky Dice Cafe out of Huntsville, Alabama, home of the ROC. No matter if you're in the United States or around the world, Lucky Dice Cafe has the winning role for all your gaming needs. You can visit them at luckydicecafe.com or on their Facebook page using the link found in the description of this video. Mr. Clicks Flicks is also brought to you by TrollandToad.com, one of the largest online gaming retailers. Use the promo code Mr. Clicks Flicks for 5% off your Heroclix order today. Alright guys, so today we are taking a look at the X-Men Regenesis Storyline Organized Play Kit. We're going to be looking at these figures and talking about whether I like them, whether I don't. Quick thumbs up, thumbs down. Maybe I'll give a reason why I don't like them, maybe I won't. This is a pretty small set. So it should be relatively quick to talk about, but there are some pretty good figures in here that are worth having that I'm pretty excited to talk about. Overall, I do like this set as a whole, and the Regenesis event seems cool. We will not be talking about the LEs, we'll just be talking about the common, rare, and chase figures that appear in this set. So let's get going. Up first is Wolverine, number 1 in the set, and we will not be talking about any of the .1 figures. We're just going to be talking about them on their 1 and then either their experienced or full versions. So Wolverine at either point value is pretty good. 120 points is a little steep for a close attacker, but he does have a 12 attack with precision strike. The nice thing about him is that he can, when he clears one or more action token, heal in one click, and he has toughness as a trait, which is just super powerful. And it doesn't state when you clear, so you might even be able to take it off of leadership. I'd have to look that up. Put in the comments below how leadership's phrased, because I don't feel like looking that up right this second. But that'd be cool if it worked out that way. Overall, this is a good figure, and definitely in the sealed event, this is one of the best figures to get for that. Next up is Cyclops. This is very much in the vein of Wolverine. He's also 120 points. Nice ranged attacker. Has a special leadership. Friendly character, hidden opposing character this turn. Heal Cyclops one click. He's also got stop clicks similar to Wolverine. And he's just really good. This is not quite as good as the X-Men Xavier School version, but this one's still really good, especially in the Storyline OP kit. And you got 120 points, and then 70 points gets you basically the same thing, but with not quite as much damage, but still pretty decent. Next up we have Kitty Pryde. She is 60 points, and her experienced version is 40 points. Both come with the Lockheed Bystander, so she has free once per game generate a Lockheed Bystander, sidestep and stealth as a special enhancement. So Lockheed, he has a 10 attack with energy explosion, running shot, flight ability, and 1 damage, so the enhancement will actually help him get up to a 2. Energy explosion has a lock damage value 2, so you don't really need that unless it's a single target. But people have talked about running more than one Kitty Pryde together to try to attack. That may be viable, but I think she's worth getting. This is definitely a different Kitty Pryde than we've had in the past. Just her ability to, she ignores elevated, hindering, blocking, and characters. And so basically she can move her full movement and then generate the Lockheed and then attack, or be carried and then generate the Lockheed and attack. So that's what people are getting at, is that there's a lot of range to it, similar to some other figures that are modern age right now. Next up we have Storm. 2 different point values are 70 points and 50 points. She has a trait, and they all have the Cyclops was right, or I side with Wolverine, where they have the .1, but again, we're not talking about those traits. So the one trait that she has is Wind at My Command, free, choose 1, Force Blaster sidestep, can use the chosen power until your next turn, and then the special on her attack is Call Down the Lightning, free, make a ranged attack targeting a single opposing character that Storm knocked back this turn. That character must still be within range and line of fire. So basically what it's telling you is that there's no drawback for selecting Force Blast. The only time, in my opinion, that you would select sidestep would be on, your turns where you're either double tokened or you don't want to push, so you're still just trying to be semi-mobile. She's got the flight ability, so she's a decent carrier, and that's something to consider, is that in this set, there's not a lot of carriers, and this is just kind of a neat storm. She does something a little different than the other ones that we've been getting recently, so definitely worth having. Next up is Beast. This is one of the first must-have figures in the set for me. He's got 2 different point lines, 70 points and 40 points. And basically the reason you have him is for a call-in. Because he has this trait, free, choose 1, outwit, or battle fury, and modify Beast combat values +1. It can use the effect until your next turn. So basically it is a cheap call-in for either an outwit or a battle fury, which would get him up to a 11 attack for 4 damage. For 40 points is just really good. Really for anybody. In the battle fury, giving him the 4 damage with the battle fury makes it so he gets around a bunch of shape change figures, and he can one-shot a bunch of support figures. So definitely a good figure to get a hold of. Up next we have Emma Frost. She is okay and sealed, but ultimately it's been a while since I liked an Emma Frost. She's got 90 points and 60 points as her point lines. She does have some cool powers. She's got traded, protected penetrating psychic blast, and then free choose 1 invulnerability or penetrating psychic blast. She can use the power until your next turn, so you can give her invulnerability along with shape change, which is pretty good. But other than that, I don't really care for her. Next we have Gambit, who's got 80 points and 50 points. Has traded sidestep and stealth. Special on his attack, which is free, choose 1 energy explosion, force blast, or quake, giant reach 2. Can use chosen effect until your next turn. And he has a 3 damage with a perplex, so you can get him up to an 11 attack. This isn't bad. I like the energy explosion with the force blast. For 50 points, he's kind of cool. This is a decent Gambit, serviceable. For 50 points, I like him. For 80 points, why do I have a 10 attack in 2019? And it seems like this is a problem with a lot of the figures in this set, is that it's just 10 17s for nearly 100 points, and I don't understand why. So next we have Magneto. He's got 120 points and I believe 80 points. Again, for 80 points, I'm not paying 80 points for a 10 attack. He does have the energy shield deflection, barriers free, but only generate 1. And when characters move, opposing characters adjacent to barrier marker must break away. And opposing characters within 2 squares in line of fire Magneto are adjacent for movement purposes. That's cool, but not 80 points with a 10 attack. Cool. Here we have Rachel Summers, and I like her as a call-in. At 100 points, she's not great. I think at 50 points, that 8 movement with hypersonic speed, 10 attack, 3 damage is pretty decent. And she's got telekinesis. Telekinesis is free, but only if she's a target of attack since your last turn. And she's got energy shield deflection, toughness, and willpower. For 50 points, I like her a lot as a call-in. Next, we have Namor. The other one we just got was so much better than this guy. I don't know why you'd pick him. Now, here is Rogue. She's got 2 different point lines, 90 and 60 points. At 60 points, she's got a 17 damage defense with invulnerability and willpower. And then she's got a trait where when she hits a single opposing character with close attack after resolutions, choose a standard power that character can use. To your next turn, Rogue can use that chosen power and has the printed range value of that character. That's kind of cool. She's got a 9 movement with charge and flight ability, 11 attack with quake, 17 defense with that special, 3 damage. She's not bad. At 60 points, I like her. I would have to pass on a 90 point, 17 defense figure for that. Colossus is just mind-boggling. 100 points for a 10 attack or 70 points for a 10 attack. I know he absorbs a lot of damage, but one pulse wave, one outwit, and you lost 70 points. He doesn't have a particularly long dial or really anything. The plasticity's cool, and stuff like that, but ultimately not a big fan. Next up is Iceman, and I really like this figure a lot. This is one I like, and you're gonna see, he's got that 10 attack, 17 defense I was just complaining about for 80 points. But if we look at him for 50 points, I think as a call-in with the student ID, he'll do some cool stuff, mainly because of his special on his defense, which is barrier, toughness, willpower. When Iceman moves, after resolution of each move, he may immediately place a blocking terrain marker in a square he moved through. Remove the marker at the beginning of your next turn, even if this is lost. So really what you're getting is free 2 square barriers, which is pretty cool with the 9 movement hypersonic speed. So you get to attack, and then put up 2 barriers, which should be enough if you're good at positioning to, kind of save yourself, which is pretty cool. And then if you had him on your force, and let's say you pushed on his second click and you didn't want to use your willpower, you'd hypersonic speed, attack, move your 2 squares, get your free 2 barriers, then you'd be on click 2, at which point you'd sidestep and get a free 3rd barrier, which is pretty cool again. And then on turns following that, you could move and then sidestep to get 2 barriers. That's just cool. For 50 points, I think that's definitely a useful figure. Next up, we have Hope Summers. 70 points is her top dial, and 40 points is her second dial. She's got a Perplex, which is pretty good at 40 points, and she can choose an adjacent character. If the chosen character is adjacent until your next turn, Hope Summers can use the standard attack and damage powers that character can use. Her power can be chosen if the chosen character style is clicked. Can change. So she can get some pretty cool stuff. She's got the Perplex there to get her up to an 11 attack. And depending on what they have going on, she could really be vicious if you have other things on your team that are already helping her out to really kick her up to a level. But on her own, she's okay at 40 points. Next up, we have Angel. He's 70 points and 40 points. And again, we're the 10-17 or even worse, 9-17 on click 2. The cool thing about him, though, is that he has that full movement charge, which is a 10 across the board, I believe. 12 up front. So you can move 12 squares in charge as long as you don't have any passengers. In the right context, you could get enough Perplexes up. I want to say use this guy as a call-in, but he is so... If you miss your Super Senses roll, you're basically giving up your points. You're sending him to die when you use the charge. So, a little confused on what exactly I'm supposed to be doing with this figure, but he's neat. Next up, we have Danger. A lot of people really like her. She has Heavy Reducer. She has an Outwit, and specifically for Sealed. She has Running Shot, Psychic Blast, Reducer with Indom. She has an Outwit, and then she can choose a standard speed or attack power printed on this card that Danger can't use already. Danger can use the chosen power until your next turn. So basically, you can choose any power that's on her dial that we're seeing right here. That's a speed or attack power. And what a lot of people are doing is they're just pairing her up with Hope Summers and getting to pick extra powers, which is smart. At 60 points, same thing. Ultimately, though, I mean, it's 60 points for somebody that's going to die, especially on that first click. If you pop her close, she doesn't have any real way to reduce that or get out of it. At 120, it's a little better, but again, you're Outwit vulnerable. And not a particularly long dial for 120 points. Now we're getting into the chases, now that we finished up the rares. Here we have Cannonball, 60 points. Has a special on his movement is Sidestep, Power, Improve Movement Characters, Move in a Direct Path, Make a close attack targeting all characters Cannonball move through, regardless of adjacency. Instead of normal damage, hit characters without Cannonball's printed damage value, and place in squares that you didn't move through, adjacent to the current square. So it's kind of like Ghost Rider and a couple other figures from Avengers Defenders War, which is cool, but it's going to be hard to get all that stuff lined up. And that 10 attack is just not very good. And then he has 40 point dial, which is basically the same thing. So I would only play him at 40 points. Next up, we have Magic. She's got a 60 point dial and a 40 point dial. She's got a special on her movement and her attack. Phasing teleport. When Magic uses it, she has passenger 2 and may carry characters regardless of flight symbol. After resolution, if she removes 5 or less, she may make a close attack modifying X, where X is the number of characters that she carried. So basically, you can, if you didn't carry anybody and you move 5 or less, it's granting you basically pseudo charge or a charge with a drawback if you carried some figures with you. That's pretty cool. And then she's got Blades, Claws, Fangs, and Steel Energy, so you're able to deal pretty big damage with her. This is one of the better chases, I feel. I do like her. But again, we're that 10 attack, 17 defense. Next up, we have Warbird. She's 90 points and 50 points. She's got a trait, which is free. Choose one, Flurry or Exploit Weakness. She can use until your next turn. So you've got the Charge, Blades, Claws, Fangs. And you can also use the Exploit Weakness or the Flurry. She's just the offensive powerhouse. She's got combat reflexes, invulnerability, and willpower as the special on her defense. So really, you do want to charge her in and get up close and just deal lots of damage for 50 points. What she does really well. She's got the flight ability, so she's a carrier, which again is kind of hard to come by in this set. And then we have the last chase figure is Psylocke, and she's at 90 points and 40 points. And she's just a good call-in because she of this trait, Psychic Bow, Incapacitate. When she uses it and hits, after resolutions, choose a standard attack or defensive power the hit character can use, and that character can't use that power until your next turn. So it's a good way to get around Pyrocosmic characters that maybe have a defense that you need it to be gone, and the only thing you have is Outwit. So you just call this in to get rid of it instead. She's got a 10 attack, which she has her own Perplex at 40 points to get it up to an 11, which gives you a reasonable chance. And she's got Sidestep and Stealth. And Improved Movement, Ignores Hindering. She's actually not bad. So you guys let me know in the comments below what you think of this set as a whole. I'd say overall it's about 50-50. Half the figures are pretty good, half the figures are not so great. But again, if it's your favorite figure, like, you know, how I was kind of talking about Cannonball. If Cannonball is your favorite, by all means use Cannonball. You guys let me know what your favorite figure in this set is. That stuff's always interesting to read. That's all I have for you today. As always, please remember this uncritical myths if you don't have probability control.